Chapter 21, Announcement of Failure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, Yi Chen spent almost every day understanding the movement patterns and characteristics of the wind and studying the movements of birds and animals. As for almost, not all, the reason is that he would go back to the Xuanhuan tribe every now and then to see how fast the tribesmen were practicing. Not bad, on the day he taught. More than 20 people sensed the existence of spiritual energy and sea of qi and were able to practice. The next day, except for the elderly and young children with poor understanding, everyone felt the existence of spiritual energy and sea of qi. This gave Yi Chen a rough understanding of the talents of the people of the Xuanhuan tribe. After that, clan members began to break through to the second level of qi condensation stage, and even took the time to learn the flying knife technique. The average strength of the entire Xuanhuan tribe is increasing at an alarming rate, especially Guli and Rog. They were originally at the level of tribal warriors and had extremely high talents. It only took 4 or 5 days to break through to the second level of qi condensation stage and learn the flying knife technique. If Guli encounters the one-horned pig that once forced her into a desperate situation, she will be able to kill it easily. As for ordinary tribesmen, once they break through to the second level of qi condensation stage, their strength will definitely not be worse than that of Guli and Rog. If you learn flying knife technique, you will only become stronger. In other words, after Yi Chen started to promote chaos art, ordinary tribesmen only need to break through to the second level of qi condensation stage and learn flying knife art to surpass the level of tribal warriors. According to Yi Chen's estimate, this will take about a month. Genius level practitioners can break through to the second level of qi condensation in 3 to 5 days. But for ordinary practitioners, it takes about a month. Right now, everything is just getting started. He has not created a formation that can speed up cultivation or a magic elixir that can improve his level of strength. He can only wait patiently for his people to grow up. Fortunately, with his current realm and talent, he cannot create formations or alchemy techniques, but he can create some other techniques that can still improve the strength of his tribe. The technique he is currently researching and creating is one of them, Xuanhuan-like exercises. This is a technique that he has planned to study and create for a long time. Compared with the ferocious beasts, the human body is too thin. Even burly warriors like Guli and Rog were like little guys in front of the ferocious beasts, but there are small advantages to being small. The first is dexterity. Yi Chen planned to create a set of body movements first, just to greatly improve this advantage. Once the human race's speed can be increased several times, even dozens of times, you can completely rely on your speed advantage to slowly consume the ferocious beast to death. Even if you can't fight, you can easily escape. Kung Fu-like exercises will become popular. Once they become popular, the Xuanhuan tribe, the cornerstone of the world's conquests, can officially begin to expand beyond the valley. According to Yi Chen's plan, there will be more than 3 months. When the cold winter is gone and the spring is in full bloom, it will be the time for the Xuanhuan tribe to set out. For the first time, sharpening the knife will not miss the woodcutter. Although he was anxious to expand his sphere of influence and thereby increase his talent bonus, he did not want to act too hastily. The Xuanhuan tribe is developing steadily step by step, and all tribesmen can clearly feel that their strength is increasing day by day. Everyone is immersed in excitement and hard work every day. All human planets in the galaxy and all human beings are in a state of anxiety. What the hell? It's been more than 10 days since the establishment of the Yi Cultivation Technique Research Institute was completed. Why is there still no new technique announced? Could it be that these exercises research institutes have researched and created a method that is better than the improved version of chaos art, but found that it was so much better that they were reluctant to publish it and decided to break their promise? Impossible. Thousands of cultivation technique research institutes have already been established. 1 or 2 of them may break their promises, but none of the thousands of cultivation technique research institutes has announced any new techniques. There is only one possibility for this situation to occur. None of these cultivation technique research institutes has succeeded in creating a better cultivation technique than the improved version of chaos art so far. How is that possible? These cultivation technique research institutes have gathered a large number of top geniuses whose cultivation speed is not much slower than that of the founder, Yi Chen. Dozens or even hundreds of top geniuses gather together to exchange ideas and work together to study new techniques. There is no way they will be slower than Yi Chen. Not to mention, there are a large number of high-end instruments and equipment to assist, and a large number of scientific researchers develop better research plans. But if it's not that a better martial art than the chaos art has not been created, and none of the major martial arts research institutes have published it, how can we explain it? What's going on? As time goes by, the human races on all major planets are becoming anxious and depressed. The official websites of the Cultivation Technique Research Institutes have a large number of messages asking about the progress all the time. The Yiyao Research Institute is the first to announce its establishment and the first to announce the completion of preparations for its establishment. They were also the first Cultivation Technique Research Institute to issue an announcement after the 15th day of preparation. Research results on new exercises. The entire report runs to dozens of pages. Inside, there are also some videos of the experiments. According to this announcement, the people were surprised to know, the total investment of the Yiyao Research Institute is as high as hundreds of billions of funds. The head of the institute is a well-known giant ranked in the top 3 in the field of biology. More than 500 geniuses were recruited, but even so, it ended in failure. After half a month, none of the more than 500 geniuses successfully comprehended the more profound laws of nature and spiritual characteristics. After half a month, the Yiyao Research Institute conducted more than 50 experiments, more than 50 geniuses, with the assistance of various top instruments and equipment. None of them could successfully test any complete set of Gonggong route map. Not to mention the Gonggong route map that exceeds the improved version of Chaos Ju, even a simple Gonggong route map that is lower than the first generation of Chaos Ju cannot be tested. Not only that, more than 30 of these more than 50 cultivation geniuses were wasted. Each of them not only ended in failure, but also suffered violent backlash of spiritual power. However, the power of this backlash varies. Some can be repaired with high-end medical equipment, but some of the Qi, Si and meridians are severely damaged, and even with the current medical level of the human race, they cannot be repaired. One test data after another, one experimental process video after another, proved the authenticity of this report. Once this announcement was released, all of humanity was shocked. The entire Milky Way was in shock. In the stock market of the entire Milky Way, pharmaceutical stocks have once again experienced a crazy dive. Even the stock prices of other industries have also followed the mercury. Chapter 22: The Complaining People. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After more than half a month, pharmaceutical stocks have been hit hard again. So far, the share price of Yiyao Group, the largest pharmaceutical giant, has shrunk by 65% compared to its peak, evaporating more than 1 trillion yuan of funds. Yi Chen, the killer of the pharmaceutical industry. The establishment of thousands of Kung Fu research institutes is a joke. Their sum total cannot compare to one Yi Chen. This site has long predicted that Yi Chen is the founder of this cultivation method, and he is also the only pioneer. When the pharmaceutical industry was in mourning and the people were extremely depressed, all the major news media in the galaxy ushered in a carnival feast. All the major news websites, headlines one after another, tried their best to broadcast it. Every time it is replaced, it can bring terrifying and explosive traffic. It's over, it's all joy. These exercises research institutes have not released new exercises for a long time. I had a hunch. Unexpectedly, the hunch came true. From now on, I will respect Yi Chen as Yi Chen. With one move, he can kill thousands of Kung Fu research institutes in one fell swoop. His talent in creating Kung Fu techniques is like a god. In this field of cultivation, Yi Chen has indeed reached incredible heights. I would never have imagined that the final result would be thousands of Kung Fu research institutes that cost hundreds of billions, and nothing was achieved. The number of viewers in Yi Chen's live broadcast room soared to tens of billions in a short period of time. Everyone is complaining. There was a lot of criticism against the major Qigong research institutes. Depressed, I have broken through to the first level of the spiritual release stage, but now I have been stagnant. Speaking of which, if I want to advance to the second level of the spiritual release stage, I still have to rely on Yi Chen to record the improved version of Chaos Art on a whim. Having broken through to the first level of the spiritual release stage so quickly, after all, the people above are geniuses. If you are not attracted by the high salaries offered by the major Kung Fu institutes, you can still escape disaster by joining these Kung Fu institutes. It's true that they escaped. Among the geniuses who joined the Kung Fu Research Institute, many of them suffered irreparable damage to their meridians and sea of energy. Even if you can get a high amount of compensation, no matter how much money you have, you can't buy a lifespan. If you break through to the first level of the spiritual release stage, the upper limit of your lifespan can be increased by 120 years. Maybe, if you break through the 9th level of the spiritual release stage, you can enter a higher level. After reaching a higher realm and level, the upper limit of lifespan can be increased by another 120 years. Break through the 9th level of the spiritual release stage and reach a higher realm and level. You are really wishful thinking. Now, the biggest headache is when can we get the improved version of Chaos Art. Don't even think about expecting Yi Chen to record the improved version of Chaos Ju on a whim. The only hope is for the people of the Yanshan tribe to break through to the first level of the spiritual release stage. Yi Chen can record the improved version. The secret of chaos was announced. But there are also many uncertainties in this matter. First of all, what are Yi Chen's thoughts? It's possible that he just wants to announce the first generation of Chaos Art so that the tribe can break through to the first level of the spiritual release stage and have a certain ability to protect themselves. He doesn't intend to teach all the skills at the bottom of the box to the tribe and to his own. Government adds instability. Secondly, this is whether the people of the Yanshan tribe can still maintain their respect for Yi Chen as their strength increases and they can kill ferocious beasts on their own. Even the high priest has already begun to work on the myth of Yi Chen. But the sudden increase in strength will inevitably make people feel arrogant and have a high-spirited mentality. If the clan members of the tribe are unable to maintain their respect for Yi Chen after their strength increases day by day, then, with Yi Chen's character, even if he intends to teach the improved version of Chaos Art, he will give up the idea. Although this scenario is unlikely, it is not completely impossible. So, those who want to learn the improved version of Chaos Art must pray that while Yi Chen wants to teach the improved version of Chaos Art to the Yanshan tribe, the people of the Yanshan tribe will be up to date and will not offend Yi Chen. Chen be angry, that everyone sighed, there is no hope for the Kung Fu Research Institute. If you want to break through to the second level of the spiritual release stage, you can only hope that Yi Chen is willing to teach the improved version of Chaos Art to the Yanshan tribe. In this way, they can continue to steal the improved version of Chaos Art, but there are also many uncertainties. Whether it can be achieved depends entirely on luck. Soon, someone came up with a new idea. Do you think it is possible to take Yi Chen out of the exiled planet and let him announce the improved version of Chaos Art, or even concentrate on creating the technique and then announce it? This idea seems to work. It's okay, the exile planet is the federal government's strongest prison. For thousands of years, no prisoner can escape. But the existence of the exiled planet is also subject to huge controversy. The most controversial point is that the descendants of felons will also be deprived of all human rights like these felons. Back then, the entire Federation was in turmoil over this matter. But in the end, it was decided to continue to implement it. Because the exile planet is indeed the most perfect prison. Not only is there no way to escape, but the living environment is harsh. It is definitely the biggest punishment for serious criminals after the abolition of the death penalty. If the descendants of felons are not to be deprived of all human rights, they have to be taken out. There are too many variables and the cost is huge. With Yi Chen's personality, if he knew that he had been deprived of human rights for more than 10 years for no reason, what would he think? With his personality, if he knew that there were tens of billions of people peeking at him every day, and even learning the exercises he created without his consent, what do you think he would think? You know, he is the founder of this practice method. Moreover, the exercises he created are also extremely magical. Who knows, he can create a set of exercises that will control the mind of anyone who learns it. Besides, he is the grandson of Yi Tenglong. There are still many remnants of Yi Tenglong lurking. Once Yi Chen is taken out. With Yi Chen's personality, mind, talent and ambition, he will definitely bring unpredictable turmoil and disaster to all of us humans. Indeed, if Yi Chen is really taken out, even if there are no messy things, with his personality and ambition, he will not be a tool man who concentrates on creating exercises. The newly proposed idea only made a large number of people's eyes light up in the early stage and rekindled hope. But it was soon refuted as worthless. As for other plans, there are actually some. It's just that, due to their limited vision, ordinary people, even if there are smart people, can't think of it. No one knows that when everyone is complaining, those top rich people and powerful people are brewing a new storm. Chapter 23, The Remnants of Tenglong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Up 356 planet, according to federal rules, planets starting with the letter A are all planets in the Milky Way that are controlled by humans. The only ones that start with the word A are all planets that have been transformed and made suitable for human life. Those starting with 2 letters belong to various types of resource planets. This UP 356 planet is a resource planet. The entire planet is 1,000 times larger than the blue star, contains extremely rich metal mineral deposits. The mining rights are divided among 3 mining giants, southern hemisphere, deep underground, in a secret base. In the center is a room that looks like a prison. All kinds of horrific torture instruments can be seen everywhere in this room. At this moment, a tall old man with white hair and beard was sitting on a torture chair. Sharp spikes constantly protruded from the back of the execution chair, piercing into his back. Drenched with blood, a large number of tentacles also protruded from the armrests of the chair and clung to his fingers. Waves of electric current continued to pass through the tentacles, stimulating his fingertips. The heartbreaking pain kept pouring into his brain from his back and fingertips. The old man's face became distorted, big beads of sweat trickled down, and when they touched the wound on his back, they brought an indescribable burning sensation. But the old man gritted his teeth and refused to even hum. His eyes were fixed straight ahead. There is a huge virtual screen. The scene above is live broadcast of Yi Chen feeling the cold wind of heaven and earth on the exiled planet. The old man's turbid eyes, filled with majesty and strength, sometimes flashed with a fanatical light that only devout believers could have. Grandfather, that a tall girl with a beautiful face walked in. Explain. That the severe pain caused by the torture made it extremely difficult for the old man to even speak a word. Experimenters number 65 to 70 all ended in failure. According to the news from the Internal Affairs Department, the secret research institute established by the military also did not have any successful cases, and did not even make any progress. The girl explained. The old man said nothing, but a smile appeared on his painful face. For investors in major kung fu research institutes, experiments that continue to fail are obviously not good news. This not only means that the huge amount of money they invested has been wasted, but also means that they cannot rely on the institute to gain strong personal strength and long lifespan. The old man in front of me is the only exception. He would rather the experiment fail, because the experiment failed. It meant that in the entire human race, only Yi Chen could create the technique. Besides this, there are various signs that the traitors cultivated by Wanzu among our human race seem to be planning some actions. The girl added. The old man said nothing, because at this moment, he no longer had the strength to speak. The girl obviously knew this and just stood at a distance waiting, looking at the old man's painful face and bloody back. A look of unbearability flashed in his eyes. Dee. There was a crisp sound from the execution chair. Execution time is over. The spikes on the back of the chair and the tentacles on the armrests all retracted. The old man collapsed on the chair, breathing heavily. The girl hurriedly stepped forward, helped him up, and helped him lie down in the medical warehouse not far away. The injuries on his body began to heal. The old man also regained some energy. After some calculation, he said, mobilize all the hackers and find a way to invade the brain of the unmanned large battleship on the exiled planet and destroy the battleship's operating system. After this is done, let the members of parliament under our control find a way to promote the bill of sending large warships to the exile planet, exile a new batch of felons, and repair the operating system at the same time. That the girl was a little stunned. Grandpa wants to rescue the young master from the exile planet. We don't have large battleships, so the young master can't be rescued. Moreover, in comparison, the young master is actually safer on the exiled planet. The old man shook his head. We need to send someone to the exiled planet to protect the young master. There is no problem in mobilizing hackers to destroy the operating system of the battleship, but the number of federal legislators we control is very small, and it is impossible to push forward the bill to send serious criminals to the exile planet in advance. The girl reminded. We, as a family, cannot control the decisions of the federal parliament. But do you think we are the only family? That the old man asked rhetorically. The girl was obviously very smart, and she only reacted after being stunned for a second or two. Those powerful figures, those top richest people who established the Cultivation Technique Research Institute, those traders recruited and trained by all races within the human race, after confirming that the Kung Fu Research Institute has made no progress, I am afraid that they also want to send people to the exiled planet. To get close to Yi Chen, it's just that the purposes are different. You make arrangements to select a group of people with superior intelligence and loyalty to go to the exiled planet to protect the young master, that the old man continued. The girl was a little surprised. If you want to protect the safety of the young master, you should send the most powerful genetic warriors, right? No, with the young master's development speed, he doesn't need our protection in terms of strength. Sending people with outstanding minds is to ensure that the young master will not be surrounded by people who want to kill him. The old man said calmly, there are various forces with different purposes. Some just want to get the latest skills he created from the young master as soon as possible. This type is the least threatening. There are also some who want to control the young master through various means. Those traitors cultivated by all races even want to get close to the young master and assassinate him to avoid future troubles. I see, that the girl nodded. Go. That the old man waved his hand. The girl hesitated for a moment, looking at the old man's tired and old face. She couldn't bear to say. Grandpa, the young master was born out of nowhere. Even the exiled planet cannot block his light. As long as we welcome the young master back, we will definitely be able to return to the top under the leadership of the young master. There is no need for you to continue to blame yourself. Punish yourself. I didn't go to death with other comrades, I only wanted to avenge the general. Living is the greatest torture for me. The old man waved his hand again. These punishments are just to stimulate my nerves, cheer me up, and try to endure the mental torture and continue to live. His eyes flashed with fanatical light. The day I welcome the young master back is the moment when my soul will be liberated. The girl remained silent and could only leave this prison-like room. The entire human world, deep in peace, is turbulent, a new era, a new struggle, and the world is rising again. The center of all whirlpools, exile planet, Yi Chen, the cold wind is biting, snowy. It took a month. With strong understanding and perseverance, Yi Chen finally gained a deep understanding of the characteristics of wind and birds and animals. It has reached the point where you can start studying body movements and other exercises. Chapter 24, Amazing Influence. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chief, that Yi Chen returned to the tribe. Everywhere he passed, he was greeted respectfully. The snow in the valley had been cleared. The children wrapped in thick animal skins were happily playing snowball fights, or frolicking and playing carefree. The elders gathered together, chatting about interesting things that happened in the tribe, with happy faces. This situation is the first time in the history of Yi Chen tribe. In previous years, with the arrival of winter, the Yi Chen tribe also entered the most severe moment of survival. The first thing to bear the brunt is food. During this period, wild animals are almost extinct. The only ones that are not affected by the severe cold are those powerful beasts. Going out hunting, you can't find prey at all. If you are unlucky, you may even die and send food to those powerful beasts. If the food stored in autumn is not enough, the tribe's chief and high priest will have to hold a sacrifice. The content is to let some old, weak, sick and disabled people go to all directions of the tribe and spread dead leaves along the way. The farther the dead leaves are spread, the more the gods will bless the tribe to hunt smoothly next year. The cruel truth behind it is to let these old, weak, sick and disabled people die outside to save food for the tribe. Every winter, even if the food reserves are sufficient, there are always people who starve to death in the Yi Chen tribe. There are also tribesmen who freeze to death. This is because the distribution of food and supplies often favors strong men and children. The former is the cornerstone of the tribe's continued survival in the coming year, and the latter is the hope for the continuation of the tribe. This year is very different. The green leopard. killed by Yi Chen alone is enough for more than 1,000 tribesmen in the tribe to have a fat winter. In addition to the food originally stored by the tribe, it can allow the tribesmen, regardless of gender, age or young, to eat freely. More importantly, with the promotion of Chaos Jew in the tribe, the tribesman's physique has been improved, the ability to resist cold has been greatly improved. There is no need to worry about the survival problem in the coming year, because after this cold winter, all the tribesmen in the tribe, except some young children, will be warriors who can easily hunt beasts. The spirit is renewed. The tribesmen in the tribe worship Yi Chen, the new patriarch, as if he were a god. Everyone's eyes are full of worship and awe. The high priest who was almost killed by Yi Chen also contributed to this. In order to maintain his position in the tribe, the high priest spared no effort to make Yi Chen a legend. Every night, he would gather the elders in the tribe to talk about everything, such as how Yi Chen stopped the heavy snow with a wave of his hand, how to make the clouds dance, how to make lightning light up the starry sky. These elders would exaggerate and spread the miracles of the patriarch to the younger generations in a very serious manner. The effect is remarkable. Yi Chen came all the way to the end of the valley. In order to have a quiet environment, he asked his tribesmen to build a larger wooden house at the end of the valley as a place to stay. In front of the wooden house was a wide open space. Yi Chen began to run wildly on the open space. The spiritual power infused into his legs made his speed far beyond that of ordinary people. But this was obviously not enough. While running wildly, he was still recalling what he had learned in the past half-month, trying to integrate these things and merge them together. Hey, Yi Chen seems to have finished his comprehension and started researching and creating a technique. After finishing his comprehension, shouldn't he start researching and testing the technique's movement route? Then, through testing, the comprehension and movement route are integrated, and minor modifications are made to make both perfect, and the technique is considered created. I guess he first familiarizes himself with and integrates the knowledge he has comprehended, and then starts researching and testing the technique's movement route. It's possible. Seeing that Yi Chen finally stopped comprehending the wind and studying the birds and animals every day, the billions of viewers in the live broadcast room suddenly became excited, having seen Yi Chen's experience of creating techniques many times, that they quickly determined what Yi Chen was doing. Speaking of which, he had been feeling the characteristics of the wind and studying the running of birds and animals. Now, he has been running wildly in the open space. Could the skills he created be to increase speed? The possibility is at least more than 90%, otherwise, it doesn't make sense. It's amazing that he can actually create a skill to increase speed. When he was in the 6th level of the condensation stage, he poured spiritual power into his legs, and the fastest speed could reach 30 meters per second. Now, he has broken through to the 1st level of the spirit release stage, and his spiritual power has undergone a qualitative change. If he pours spiritual power into his legs, it will definitely not be difficult to reach 40 to 50 meters per second. With Yi Chen's ability, it is definitely not difficult for the new technique to increase the speed by 50%. By this calculation, reaching 70 to 80 meters per second is a sure thing, and it may even exceed 100 meters per second. Oh my God, it may exceed 100 meters per second, and as long as the spiritual power is not exhausted, this speed can be maintained. Then, wouldn't the speed reach 300 to 400 kilometers per hour? Oh my God, after learning this new technique, my mother will no longer have to worry about me being late for class. Good guy. Once this new technique is released, I'm sure the stock prices of those car companies will plummet. Driving a car at full speed is not as cool as speeding on the ground and turning into lightning. It also saves electricity and money. No electricity consumption and maintenance are required. When the spiritual power is exhausted, you can practice to recover. Exhausting the spiritual power and then practicing again is even beneficial to the cultivation and improvement of the realm. The only trouble is that it is a bit worn out. I feel that the stocks of those companies that produce shoes are going to rise sharply. Damn, the stock market reacts really fast. We just made a guess here, and the stocks of the automobile industry fell across the board, and even the stocks of aircraft manufacturers began to fall. On the other hand, the stock market stocks soared sharply. It's crazy. Yi Chen hasn't even created the skills yet. Is the reaction of the stock market so intense? I guess from today on, all stockholders will have to switch to the live broadcast room. They will not stare at the market in the future, but at Yi Chen. A slight disturbance may be the prelude to the collapse of a certain type of stock, or a certain stock market the beginning of the surge. Not only the stockholders, but also the major news media, probably also regard Yi Chen as their breadwinner, and send people to watch the live broadcast every day. If there is a little bit of something, the front page headlines will be changed immediately. Yi Chen returns to the tribe from the forest. What is he going to do? Yi Chen runs wildly in the open space. What does he want to do? Yi Chen drinks a sip of water. What is he going to do? All kinds of messy things can now be put on the front page headlines, and the click rate is explosively high. Congratulations on cracking the traffic code. Those experts and scholars are now also taking advantage of Yi Chen's popularity every now and then. The most amazing thing is that a new movie released on the planet A698 the day before yesterday was temporarily renamed The Story I Have to Tell About Yi Chen and Me. The single-day box office was as high as more than 500 million, breaking the annual single-day box office record of the planet. However, the headquarters of the film and television company was smashed the next day. This saucy operation can only be said to be 666. The audience in the live broadcast room was full of emotion, especially those early audiences. They would never have imagined that Yi Chen's every move would have such an impact on human society. Chapter 26, Hopes Shattered. You are listening at novelfull.audio. God bless you. Yi Chen sent someone to find Gully, intending to teach her the improved version of Chaos Jew while he is free. That's definitely true, although Yi Chen rejected Gully's courtship. But Gully is the first person he met, and she is also a peerless beauty. Even if he has no other thoughts, he must have a lot of good feelings for her. In order to prevent his power and prestige from being affected, Yi Chen will not teach all his secret techniques, but he is very likely to teach Gully alone. If that's the case, it would be great. Even if it is taught privately, the scanner can easily scan it. In this way, we can learn the improved version of Chaos Jew. Ever since a genius in the Yanshan tribe broke through to the first level of the Lingfang period, but Yi Chen did not teach him the improved version of Chaos Jew, the audience who had been in a depressed and anxious state finally cheered up. One by one, they all prayed to God for blessing Yi Chen to call Gully over, intending to teach her the improved version of Chaos Jew in private. In this way, all mankind will be able to successfully steal the improved version of Chaos Sutra. At the same time, practitioners of major news media are also on high alert. As soon as Yi Chen makes a decision, they will release this heavy news as soon as possible. In order to grab traffic, some unscrupulous news websites directly release the news that Yi Chen has already taught the improved version of Chaos Sutra to Gully. Chief, are you looking for me? Gully rushed to Yi Chen's wooden house and looked at him expectantly. However, what she expected was not the improved version of Chaos Sutra. Unlike the people outside the exile planet, the tribesmen of Yanshan tribe did not know the existence of the improved version of Chaos Sutra. Geniuses like Gully, who broke through to the first level of the Lingfang period and whose strength realm could not be improved, only thought that this way of cultivation had reached the upper limit. They were very satisfied with this upper limit and did not consider other situations at all. What she expected was that Yi Chen would find her because he had been in the wooden house for a long time, feeling lonely and cold, and was planning to have sex with her. There was no doubt that Yi Chen would never have such an idea. He would never have such an idea in his life. He looked at Gully and asked, "Do you know if there are any extremely fast beasts around the tribe?" Lightning Martin. Gully felt disappointed, but she didn't dare to show it. "Where is it?" Yi Chen asked. Gully explained, "In a cave 20 miles south of the tribe." "Cave?" Yi Chen frowned slightly. "Is there any way to lure it out?" "Food. It likes the smell of roasted meat and often comes to our tribe to snatch roasted meat. Because it is too fast, we can't do anything to it." Gully introduced, "Even now, we put spiritual power into our legs, and the speed has increased several times, but we still can't do anything to it. Fortunately, it is small and can't eat much. We can only snatch a few pieces, so let it go." Yi Chen nodded and ordered, "Take a few people and prepare some raw meat and dry firewood. When you are ready, notify me and set out to find the lightning marten. Okay. Gully left the wooden house disappointed. The audience in front of the screen also became weak like a deflated ball. Sure enough, Yi Chen is still the same Yi Chen. With his heroic character, how could he pass on his most secret technique and add uncertainty to his rule and prestige? Alas, Gully, this peerless beauty, is no exception. I asked her to come here just to ask if there is a target to test the new technique. I'm so depressed that I want to rush into the screen and beg Yi Chen not to torture me, and just copy down the improved version of Chaos Ju neatly. I feel like I have to see a psychologist. When Gully came in, my heartbeat accelerated at least twice. When I found out that Yi Chen was just asking about the fast beast, I almost collapsed. My mentality exploded. I just want to know when I can learn the improved version of Chaos Ju. That everyone was extremely disappointed, the hope that was finally ignited was completely shattered, and everyone was extremely depressed, so that, one by one, no one could arouse the slightest curiosity about Yi Chen's new technique. There is no way. It is too uncomfortable to not be able to learn the improved version of Chaos Ju. In the wooden house, Gully went to arrange barbecue and dry firewood, and Yi Chen did not waste time. He sat cross-legged on the wooden bed and entered a state of meditation. In the past 2 months, he has been busy researching and creating new exercises, and only practiced when he was mentally exhausted or exhausted. Therefore, his realm has been stagnant. Up to now, his realm is still at the first level of the spirit release period. However, with intermittent practice and strong talent, he is only one step away from the second level of the spirit release period. Gully's efficiency is obviously not very high. It was not until more than half an hour later that the knock on the door sounded again. Gully and Rog, with more than a dozen young and strong tribesmen, stood respectfully outside the door. There was a lot of raw meat and dry firewood beside them. Yi Chen immediately announced his departure. After leaving the valley, the group walked on the thick snow and headed south, all the way to the cave where the lightning marten was. Yi Chen did not go in directly. The cave was narrow, barely enough for one person, although according to Gully's description, the lightning marten was not very strong except for its lightning speed and powerful claws. There was no need to take risks if it could be lured out. Moreover, the cave was not suitable for testing new skills. Under his instructions, Gully and the others quickly cleared a 4 or 5 square meter open space about 10 meters away from the cave. The dry firewood was lit and the wooden frame was tied. Pieces of raw meat were placed on the fire and roasted. From time to time, someone sprinkled crushed plant debris on the meat slices to enhance the aroma of the barbecue. With the sizzling sound of oil, the aroma of the barbecue began to drift in all directions. The cold north wind added icing on the cake, blowing the rich meat aroma into the narrow cave. Chirp. As the strength level is improved, hearing will also be greatly enhanced. Soon, Yi Chen heard a strange sound coming from the cave. Then, a white light suddenly shot out from the dark cave. This white light was extremely fast, especially in the ice and snow. If it weren't for his excellent eyesight, Yi Chen couldn't even catch the trajectory of the white light. In the blink of an eye, the white light appeared in front of the grill. Yi Chen could see clearly that the white light was a white mink with snow-white hair and only about 30 centimeters long. As expected of a level 9 lightning marten, its strength is not that great, but its speed is really fast. According to the scanner, the maximum speed of this lightning marten is 121 meters per second. This is not the fastest speed of the lightning marten. According to the data, the maximum speed of a level 9 lightning marten is 180 meters per second. However, this burst state can only last for more than 10 minutes. That's also very strong. 180 meters per second means more than 10 kilometers per minute, and it can run more than 100 kilometers in 10 minutes. Yi Chen probably chose the wrong training target this time. Not to mention 180 meters per second, even if it is 120 meters per second, he can't catch up. According to my estimation, Yi Chen's new technique should be between 80 and 90 meters per second. That's not the case. I think Yi Chen's new technique can at least allow him to reach a speed of 100 meters per second. Seeing that the lightning marten is extremely fast, even exceeding 100 meters per second, the audience in the live broadcast room, who had been in a low mood and listless, finally lifted up a little spirits. Chapter 27 Supersonic. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In front of the wooden frame, Lightning Martin didn't even look at Yi Chen and Gu Li. He picked up a piece of barbecue and flew toward the cave. "You're already here, why are you in such a hurry to go back?" How could Yi Chen let it return to the cave? The corners of his mouth raised slightly, he grabbed a piece of dry firewood and felt an undercurrent of spiritual power. The next moment, Gu Li and others, the audience in the live broadcast room, were stunned. It turned into an afterimage and quickly surpassed the white light, blocking the entrance of the cave. The speed is so fast that it is far faster than the lightning ferret. The speed of the clan leader is actually faster than the lightning ferret. How is this possible? We humans can actually run faster than a lightning ferret. Even those powerful ferocious beasts are not as fast as the Lightning Martin. How did the clan leader do this? Gu Li and others almost couldn't believe their eyes. After practicing the chaos art, their physical fitness has been greatly improved. Infusing spiritual power into the legs can make them faster than before, but no matter how fast they were, they didn't dare to imagine that the human race could be faster than the lightning ferret. However, just now, Yi Chen did it. 160 meters per second. Oh my god! Is this new technique so powerful? It can actually increase Yi Chen's speed several times. It's amazing, he deserves to be called Yi Chen. As soon as the new technique came out, his speed increased several times. Looking at the whole Yanshan mountain, there may be ferocious beasts that he can't defeat, but there are absolutely no ones that can threaten his safety. A ferocious beast. After all, those who can beat him can't outrun him. Those who can outrun him, like the lightning ferret, can't beat him. Alas, if all the major kung fu research institutes, hundreds of thousands of geniuses, and millions of top scientific researchers are tied together, even if they can reach half of Yi Chen's level, it will be great. Just kidding, if he could reach Yi Chen's level, he would have developed an improved version of chaos art long ago. You know, Yi Chen only spent 3 days on the improved version of chaos art. Moreover, we also know the route of luck. The picture just lacks the formula. The viewers in the live broadcast room were constantly amazed. Unlike Gu Li and Rog, these viewers all know that Yi Chen has researched and created techniques that can increase speed. They also try to overestimate the effect of this technique. Commonly given estimates are between 80 and 100 meters per second. A few people even think it is possible to exceed 100 meters per second. But even though they were mentally prepared, when Yi Chen revealed the effects of this new technique, everyone was stunned and surprised. No one expected that the effect of the new technique could actually make Yi Chen's speed reach 160 meters per second. This is a value that no one expected. 160 meters per second means the speed will be as high as 600 kilometers per hour. This has exceeded the fastest supercar speed. Moreover, this is not an explosive speed in a short period of time. According to the scanner's display, when Yi Chen used this new technique, he consumed very little spiritual power. At the first level of his spiritual release stage, his spiritual power was enough to support him running at this speed for more than 10 hours. So, after learning this technique, you become a super sports car. Good fellow, as the realm improves, the strength of spiritual power will be strengthened, and the power of the technique will also be stronger. Doesn't this mean that one day, Yi Chen's speed can even reach the speed of sound? I really want to imitate the high priest and lick the soil under his feet to express my piety and worship. That everyone was filled with emotions. Another awesome new technique has come out, and it is different from flying knife art. Although wars broke out between the human race and all races from time to time, they relied on space battleships and various high-end weapons. On the battlefield, even in a landing battle, the world is dominated by mechas and genetic warriors. Ordinary soldiers also have various laser weapons, and there is no need for personal strength at all. Even if you learn flying knife technique, it will be of little use. Therefore, there are only some darts enthusiasts who are eager to learn the flying knife technique. But this new technique is different. It can greatly increase personal speed and will have amazing effects and value on the battlefield, even in daily life. This technique has a wide range of uses and is extremely popular. Unfortunately, everyone felt that such a powerful technique, with Yi Chen's personality, would definitely be the same as the improved version of chaos art and would not be taught. I can only imagine the scene where I will ride on the highway and leave the supercar behind me after learning the new technique. On the snow, The lightning ferret couldn't help but stop when he noticed that Yi Chen suddenly blocked the entrance of the cave from the barbecue grill. There was a flash of doubt in its little eyes. He turned to look at Gu Li and others at the barbecue grill, then looked back at Yi Chen. Was this guy over there just now? Why was it blocked in front of him in the blink of an eye? Chi. It couldn't figure it out, so it didn't continue to think about it. He suddenly started to speed up and flew towards Yi Chen. The sharp claws clawed at Yi Chen's face. Bang! Yi Chen reacted very quickly. When it approached, he suddenly picked up the dry firewood in his hand. There was a muffled sound, and the lightning ferret was slapped away. The lightning ferret tumbles into the snow. He bared his teeth and claws at Yi Chen. Furious, Yi Chen strode forward. Chirp! This lightning marten is obviously quite intelligent. It was startled by Yi Chen's action. It threw away the barbecue without hesitation and turned to run wildly. Its short legs left no trace on the snow, leaving a series of faint footprints on the thick snow and running away quickly. It was even faster than before. It reached more than 180 meters per second. Just when everyone thought Yi Chen could not catch up, Yi Chen swung the dry firewood and suddenly accelerated. The next moment, it took only a few seconds to surpass the lightning marten. Then, no matter how the lightning marten turned, it used its agile body to dodge left and right. Yi Chen could always easily appear in front of it and block its way. This is also one of the characteristics of the new technique: agile, elegant, and free. In order to research and create new techniques, he spent a month studying the characteristics of wind and observing the characteristics of birds and beasts. The new technique also takes advantage of its strengths and makes up for its weaknesses, integrating the characteristics and features it has learned into the technique. This allows the new technique to not only greatly increase its speed, but also make all the details of the new technique perfect, while maintaining high speed, the elegance and casualness of the wind. The agility and flexibility of birds and beasts can all be seen in the new technique. The lightning marten is not only not as fast as Yi Chen's new technique, but also far inferior to his new technique in terms of agility. One man and one beast, chasing on the snow, it's like playing and dodging left and right. However, no one knows the pain in the lightning marten's heart. With speed, Yi Chen can always block it in front of it and can't escape at all. In terms of strength, the dry firewood in Yi Chen's hand can always hit its head one step ahead, making it painful. No one knows the shock in the hearts of the hundreds of millions of viewers in the live broadcast room. Just now, the scanner scanned. Yi Chen's maximum speed actually reached 360 meters per second, exceeding the speed of sound. Chapter 28, Stepping on the Clouds. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It turns out that 160 meters per second is not the limit of the new technique. The limit of the new technique is 360 meters per second, which is 1,300 kilometers per hour. This is no longer a humanoid supercar, but a humanoid lightning. I really knelt in front of the screen in worship. 2 months ago, I would never believe that we humans can crack the mystery of life and increase the upper limit of lifespan to 240 years old. A minute ago, I would never believe that our human body structure can reach a speed of more than 1,000 kilometers per hour without the help of any instruments. Moreover, when it exceeds the speed of sound, there is no sonic boom. Yi Chen seems to have solved the sonic boom. Feeling I'm going to explode on the spot. I can't learn the improved version of Chaos Ju, which has made me unable to sleep and eat, and I suffer every day. Now, there is another technique that can make us humans exceed the speed of sound. Just thinking about not being able to learn it makes me feel worse than death. Yes. Worse than death. Yi Chen is simply a demon. How can he create such a terrifying technique of attraction? God bless, I am willing to exchange 10 years of my life for Yi Chen's sudden inspiration to suddenly record the improved version of Chaos Ju and the new technique's technique formula. I am willing to exchange 20 years of my life for. I can't learn it, that feeling is almost driving me crazy. The audience in front of the screen, after being shocked, mourned. Everyone's mood became increasingly depressed to the extreme. The failure to learn the improved version of Chaos Ju has already made all mankind uncomfortable, and here comes a very attractive new technique. It makes everyone feel that if they can't learn it, they will be worse than death. Yi Chen's new technique is out, breaking the limit of the human body again. After the lifespan limit was raised by 120 years, Yi Chen's new technique made humans faster than the speed of sound. A man like a god created a technique that only gods can create. The human race, which only has technology but no personal strength, seems to have a chance to move towards another development path. A new magical technique that people want to learn but cannot learn has made people more depressed, and the stock market has also hit a new low. Why are thousands of technique research institutes not as good as Yi Chen? How strong is his talent? The system of depriving the descendants of felons of their rights for life on exiled planets saved a lot of money for the federal government, but now it has put all mankind in an extremely embarrassing situation. It is shameful to steal, and if you can't steal, you want to die. Major news websites also updated the front page headlines as soon as possible. The traffic surged to the extent that the bosses of major news websites couldn't stop laughing, and announced that all employees would double their salaries. It took more than 20 minutes to toss on the snow. In order to help him test his skills, Yi Chen finally let the lightning marten go, stopped chasing and blocking it, and let it escape back to the cave. As for whether the lightning marten can still escape after the Yenshan tribe begins to expand, it depends on its attitude. As long as it is a fierce beast, it has some intelligence. This lightning marten is not very strong, and its intelligence is not high, but it has some. If it knew to surrender, it would be able to escape when the Yenshan tribe expands. If it is still stubborn after being cheated and tries to stop the expansion of the Yenshan tribe, it will only die. After completing the test and finding no shortcomings and neglected places, Yi Chen called Guli and others and returned to the Yenshan tribe by the original route. Tribe leader, how could your speed just now be faster than the lightning marten? Guli asked curiously with courage. After listening to the elders in the tribe talking about Yi Chen's miracles, even she gradually became a little restrained in front of Yi Chen. Rog and others didn't even dare to ask. Stepping on the clouds, a new technique I created, can greatly increase speed. Yi Chen casually named the new technique. The clan leader is indeed the reincarnation of a god. Guli's eyes flashed with admiration. The awe in Rog and others' eyes reached the level of fanaticism. In their opinion, if Yi Chen was not the reincarnation of a god, how could he have created a technique that could make people faster than a lightning marten? As for whether they could learn it, they didn't dare to think about it. If Yi Chen was willing to teach it, it would be a gift from the gods. If Yi Chen didn't teach it, it must be because the gods thought they were not qualified to learn it. Alas, the people of Yenshan tribe are just like those people in the Gongfa Research Institute. All of them are useless. One by one, they dare not even speak in front of Yi Chen. Even Guli only dared to ask a question. They still dared not to beg for Gongfa or something. There is no way. That place is an exiled planet in the wild era. The people of the tribe believe in the existence of ghosts and gods. Under the desperate propaganda of the high priest, Yi Chen is not only the patriarch of the tribe, but also vaguely holds the divine power in his hands. To be honest, Guli and the others are already very brave. At least they dare to stand in front of the gods. In the live broadcast room, the audience was disappointed. The little hope that was finally raised was shattered again. After returning to the valley, Yi Chen went straight back to his wooden house. He did not enter the state of meditation, but started to study a weakened version of treading clouds based on treading clouds. Most of the tribe members had only practiced for 3 or 4 months before the beginning of spring. Except for a few geniuses, their realms could only reach the 4th or 5th level of the condensation stage. In this case, most of the tribe members could not learn the stepping cloud art he created when he was in the 1st level of the spirit release stage. Even geniuses like Guli, who had already broken through to the 1st level of the spirit release stage, found it difficult to master the stepping cloud art in a short period of time. If the people were to learn the stepping cloud art in a short period of time, they would be able to increase their strength with the stepping cloud art after the beginning of spring and officially begin to expand. There is no doubt that the stepping cloud art must be improved to the level of flying knife art that is simple and easy to learn. It took Yi Chen 2 months to create the stepping cloud art. Based on the stepping cloud art, it took only 1 hour to improve the weakened version of the stepping cloud art. Under the puzzled eyes of the audience in the live broadcast room, he left the wooden house again. Then, he ordered the whole tribe to gather in the center of the valley. With Yi Chen's current power and prestige in the Yenshan tribe, his order is close to an oracle. All the men, women, old and young in the tribe, no matter what they were doing when they received the order, put down their work at the first time and gathered in the center of the valley. In just 20 minutes, more than 1,000 people from the Yanshan tribe gathered in the center of the valley. The cold winter has lasted for 2 months, with the practice of chaos dew and sufficient food. The tribesmen are not as skinny and listless as in previous years, but are full of energy and rosy. The state makes Yi Chen very satisfied. He didn't say much, and picked up a stone at random. He began to record the weakened version of Taoyuan-Ju formula and exercise diagram on the stone wall. At this moment, the audience in the live broadcast room all widened their eyes and trembled with excitement. Chapter 29. The whole human race is in a cold mood. You are listening at novelfull.audio. God bless me, who can tell me that I'm not dazzled? Is Yi Chen inscribing the formulas and movement charts of cloud stepping art on the stone wall? No dazzling, indeed. Oh my God! What kind of luck did you get today? Did Yi Chen hear my prayers during this period and read my pious heart, so he took a whim and fulfilled my wish? That the tens of billions of viewers in the live broadcast room were all dancing with excitement. Diamond Suit, major news websites immediately put this matter on the front page. The news spread, and all mankind fell into a carnival. The Milky Way, all major living planets. There were cheers from almost every corner. The gloom of many days seemed to disappear overnight. Everyone's faces were beaming with joy. The stock market, which had been falling for more than a month, suddenly turned around and began to soar. Except for the stocks in the auto industry that continued to fall, there is no doubt about it. This is great news for all mankind, although for all mankind, they want to learn the improved version of chaos art more, followed by cloud stepping art. But since Yi Chen would suddenly announce the cloud stepping art, it would naturally be possible that one day he would suddenly have a whim and announce an improved version of the chaos art. The future is promising. After being depressed and irritable for more than a month, the light finally came. One can imagine how all mankind feels at this moment. However, this did not last long. Soon, someone noticed something was wrong. This isn't right. Why is the movement chart recorded by Yi Chen different from the results scanned by the scanner? It seems to have become a lot simpler. Originally, spiritual power had to pass through a total of 6 meridians and 15 acupuncture points from the Sea of Qi to the legs. Now, it has been changed to 5 meridians and 9 acupuncture points. It should be an improved movement map. Didn't Yi Chen study and improve it for another hour after returning to the tribe? The problem is, according to data released by major Kung Fu research institutes, the more acupoints through which spiritual power passes, the stronger the effect. If you improve it, it will only become stronger the more you change it. How can you reduce the number of spiritual energy entering the acupuncture points? The more you change it, the worse the effect will be. Is it possible that Yi Chen spent that hour instead of summarizing and improving cloud stepping technique, but thinking of ways to weaken cloud stepping technique? This is in line with Yi Chen's character. Cloud stepping technique is so powerful that it can break the speed of sound. How could he possibly teach the complete version of cloud stepping technique? The viewers in the live broadcast room were immediately panicked. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. After discovering that this cloud stepping technique was actually just a weakened version, everyone's excitement felt like someone had poured cold water on them in the middle of winter. Feeling cool, as the news spread, all human beings in a carnival state were instantly brought back to their original state. Even more so, the pessimism is getting stronger. The stock market, which had finally recovered, turned around and plummeted again. The public's mood has returned to the bottom again, and even has a tendency to slide towards the abyss. There's nothing you can do about it. Being hit while you're excited will only make your mood worse. In the center of the valley, the people of the Yanshan tribe had expressions of ecstasy on their faces. However, with Yi Chen right in front of him, no one dared to cheer or celebrate loudly. Having had this experience, they naturally understood that Yi Chen's writing and drawing on the stone wall must be a new skill that he wanted to teach the tribesmen. They didn't know that cloud stepping art had a weakened version and a full version, so naturally they weren't disappointed at all. In my heart, there was only deep excitement and excitement. This set of exercises is called cloud stepping technique. It is a set of exercises that can increase speed. For more than 2 months, the people of the Yanshan tribe not only practiced every day, but also learned writing. Although he is not at the level of writing now, he still knows most of the formulas for the weakened version of cloud stepping technique. There is no longer any need to promote the chaos art like that. We have to wait until the tribesmen have memorized the formula before starting to teach it. First of all, it is the movement of the spirit. It means that the spirit power can be like waving the arms and fingers, and with a thought, one can reach any place according to the exercise map of the exercise method. To do this, you need to practice for a long time. That's it. That Yi Chen didn't waste time and immediately started teaching, explaining to the clansmen the secrets of the formulas and various precautions when using the techniques. The tribesmen were fascinated by what they heard, even the children looked like they were suddenly enlightened. As for what they understood, only they themselves know. The viewers in the live broadcast room were confused. No one was in the mood to listen to Yi Chen's lecture. There was no way around it. Although the weakened version of cloud stepping technique was worth learning, the audience was at rock bottom and no one could concentrate. Everyone is enveloped in all kinds of negative emotions. After struggling for more than an hour, Yi Chen explained the weakened version of cloud stepping art. I spent more than half an hour answering questions. Those tribesmen with higher talents can already fully understand the weakened version of cloud stepping art and can answer the questions raised by Yi Chen fluently. Okay, those who have broken through to the first level of the spiritual release stage will stay. Those who have not broken through to the first level of the spiritual release stage can go back. Yi Chen clapped his hands and said, after you go back, practice well. If you have time, practice more on flying knife art and stepping cloud art. Yes. The tribesmen bowed and left. In the blink of an eye, only more than 20 tribesmen were left in front of Yi Chen. These 20 or so were all geniuses who had broken through to the first level of the spirit release period in the past 2 months. Among these geniuses, Guli, who had the fastest cultivation speed, had already broken through to the first level of the spirit release period a month ago. The slowest one broke through to the first level of the spirit release period 2 days ago. Yi Chen had decided to teach them the improved version of chaos art. Naturally, unlike what the audience in the live broadcast room guessed, he did not intend to cultivate tribesmen of higher realms in order to protect his ruling position from being threatened. With his vision and ambition, he was only worried that the average strength of the tribesmen would improve too slowly, not that the average strength of the tribesmen would be too strong. The stronger the tribesmen of Yanshan tribe are, the more they can help him expand his territory and expand his sphere of influence, thereby increasing his talent bonus and allowing him to go further and further in creating more advanced skills. The reason why he didn't teach it before was that the improved version of Chaos Ju was extremely profound and difficult to understand. Only 2 or 3 people broke through to the first level of the Lingfang period. If they didn't learn the Chaos Ju he taught, it would mean that he would have to spend time explaining it again. There are 20 or 30 people. Even if there are some things they don't understand, they can communicate and discuss with each other to learn from each other's strengths and weaknesses. Another reason is for safety. He has been busy researching and creating Treading Cloud Ju for the past 2 months, and his realm has stagnated. If the improved version of Chaos Ju is taught, it means that the strength realm of the tribesmen like Guli who rank among the top few in the tribe will surpass him. Although the tribesmen worship him as a god, with his personality, he still can't completely trust anyone other than himself. For his own safety, and because it would not have much impact on the average strength of the tribe members, he did not pass on the improved version of Chaos Ju for the time being. At present, he has successfully created Treading Cloud Ju and can start to concentrate on practicing, so he naturally has no such concerns. He glanced at Guli and others. Yi Chen picked up the stone and came to the place where Chaos Ju was originally engraved. Next to it, he engraved the 3 big characters Chaos Ju again. Guli and others were full of confusion in their eyes. The audience in the live broadcast room also looked confused. They were deeply shocked, and obviously did not know that a surprise big enough to make them crazy was coming. Chapter 30. A huge surprise arrives. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is Yi Chen doing? He seems to be recarving a copy of the Chaos Sutra and the exercise chart. The problem is that the Chaos Sutra that was carved on the wall 2 months ago is still clear now. And, with his personality, he definitely doesn't want to waste time on such a small matter, and must leave it to the tribesmen to do. The audience in the live broadcast room was confused. They had just experienced a major disappointment, and they were scared to death, and they didn't dare to think about the improved version of Chaos Sutra. this is a self-protection consciousness. Subconsciously, everyone did not dare to have any hope for a short time after experiencing the heavy blow of greater hope and greater disappointment, in order to avoid another heavy blow. But as time went on, soon everyone found that although most of the Chaos Sutra that Yi Chen had newly carved on the stone wall was the same, there were still many differences. In addition, the newly carved formula was obviously more profound and difficult to understand. Indistinctly, a guess emerged in everyone's mind, but no one dared to continue thinking about this guess. Instead, they tried to suppress this idea and not let themselves think wildly. After recording the formula, Yi Chen began to record the improved version of Chaos Formula Exercise Map. It is also very similar to the previous version, except that there is one more meridian for the spiritual power to pass through. The number of acupuncture points has also increased to 16. The audience in front of the screen gradually became short of breath. That idea was rising in their minds uncontrollably. I have a bold idea. Someone finally couldn't help but send a message in the live broadcast room. I also have a bold idea, but I'm trying to suppress this idea. I'm willing to spend 10 years without finding a girlfriend in exchange for your bold idea to come true. God bless, the disappointment just now has almost made me collapse. Don't let me down again. Otherwise, I will go crazy. In the live broadcast room, hundreds of millions of viewers were holding their breath, so that they must not think wildly, but in their eyes, strong expectations emerged uncontrollably. More people rushed to the live broadcast room after hearing the news. Then, they silently watched Yi Chen on the screen, who was recording the exercise map. The atmosphere became more and more tense. The entire Milky Way seemed to be shrouded in an indescribable dullness. At this moment, the heartbeat rate of all mankind doubled. Everyone seemed to be in a court, waiting for the chief judge to make the final judgment. Finally, Yi Chen recorded the improved version of the Chaos Sutra formula and exercise map on the stone wall. He turned his head and looked at Gully and others who looked confused. What is recorded here is the improved version of the Chaos Sutra that I have recently researched and created, which can also be called the Chaos Sutra of the Spiritual Release Period. What the clan leader means is that if we learn this Chaos Sutra of the Spiritual Release Period, our realm can be improved again. Gully couldn't help asking. Yes, that Yi Chen nodded. Gully and a group of talented clansmen were instantly ecstatic. They had always thought that the first level of the Spirit Release Period was the upper limit. Unexpectedly, it could be further improved. Boom! At this moment, the entire Milky Way was like a pot of boiling water. The hearts of all mankind, which had been hanging in their throats, finally fell to the ground. Then, there was endless cheering and jumping for joy. Everyone was like crazy, cheering and waving their fists in their rooms, classrooms, and offices. There is no doubt that Yi Chen, the chief judge, made a judgment that made all mankind ecstatic. The new skills he engraved on the wall were indeed a modified version of Chaos Ju. This surprise came too suddenly and unexpectedly. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. A genius of Yi Chen's level has a way of thinking that is beyond the comprehension of mortals like us. I'm so scared. I'm really afraid that my hopes will be dashed again. If that happens, it will be a huge blow. Double happiness. Just when Yi Chen announced that this is the improved version of Chaos Ju, my beautiful boss was so excited that she rushed over to hug me and kissed me wildly. That feeling was so cool. What's this? Our boss was so excited that she announced a double salary increase for all employees in the company. I've been waiting for Yi Chen to teach. I can finally learn the improved version of Chaos Ju. I feel that the whole world is 10 times brighter. What are you waiting for? Go buy stocks first. It's only been a minute. Except for car companies' stocks, the stock markets of all planets have soared by 10%, and this is just the beginning. That the sudden surprise is like a shot of adrenaline, making all mankind extremely excited. This day, for all mankind, is undoubtedly a roller coaster day. The mood can be described as ups and downs. An improved version of Chaos Ju ended the 32 consecutive declines of the stock market in the entire galaxy. So far, Yi Chen has easily increased the total market value of the stock market in the entire galaxy by tens of millions of trillions with an improved version of Chaos Ju. After the pharmaceutical industry, the stock prices of car companies plummeted. The birth of each new skill of Yi Chen not only boosts all walks of life in the world, but also subverts one of the industries. The greatest genius in human history, Yi Chen, his every move can already dominate the emotions of all mankind. The Federation's #1 sexy goddess Jiang Fei announced that she would not marry anyone other than Yi Chen in this life. Major news media also ushered in another wave of carnival feast. Every piece of news, as long as it is linked to Yi Chen, can harvest countless traffic. Moreover, it can continuously update the front page headlines and continuously harvest. All mankind has fallen into madness with the release of the improved version of Chaos Jew. In the valley, Yi Chen has begun to teach Gully and others the improved version of Chaos Jew. In theory, it should be easier to learn the improved version of Chaos Jew after having the experience of learning Chaos Jew. However, although the improved version of Chaos Jew is mostly the same, the differences are more profound and mysterious. Gully and others were also confused by just picking out a sentence. Yi Chen needed to explain it word by word many times, even giving examples, so that they could understand it while explaining it, so that they could gradually understand it thoroughly. The improved version of Chaos Jew only added a few dozen sentences, but Yi Chen spent 6 or 7 hours to teach by words and deeds, and finally made Gully and others understand it thoroughly. Finally done. Seeing that Gully and other top-ranked geniuses can officially practice the improved version of Chaos Jew, Yi Chen breathed a sigh of relief and ended the second class, returned to the wooden house. After 2 months, he can finally concentrate on practicing. Before the beginning of spring, there is nothing worth wasting his time on. Just wait until the beginning of spring to start large-scale expansion of the territory. At the same time, see if you can collect enough ore to create weapons. By then, you can start to study a set of attacking skills that are far more powerful than Flying Knife Jew, greatly improving the strength of yourself and your tribesmen. Sit cross-legged on the wooden bed. As the spiritual power flowed through his meridians, the spiritual energy within a dozen meters radius seemed to be attracted by a mysterious force and began to gather towards him.